And we are live.
And we're live.
Hello.
Hey everyone.
Hello back, Fix family. This fun guy right here, the new face to this show. That's Shane Varner.
Counterintuitive to the video.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I'm actually on that side, but the camera doesn't talk about this.
This is, okay, hold on, really quick. We haven't even gotten our introduction done.
Yeah.
But the people are rolling in anyways.
Yeah,
how many
cool.
people are on? Nobody yet. That's right. You'll see it up there.
Gotcha. This is the first one I've done from a computer here with the sweet microphone. So we're
So there's this. I listen to NPR. You
Love
listen
it.
to NPR?
Yeah.
Okay. So big fan. And they were talking about the other day. There's this guy who has built. I think he calls it the True Mirror.
Okay.
And it is a mirror that shows you the actual side of your face the way that people see it.
Okay.
Because when we look in a mirror, it's flipped. Apparently it just blows people's mind the first time they see themselves in this true mirror.
Yeah.
Because their face is flipped. Like your nose is crooked the other way that you think it is.
That's
your part is on the other side of your head.
I can offer a little insight into the mirror thing.
Okay.
As a man that lacks hair and not choosing to go to a weekly barber shop, cutting your own hair and shaving your own head, you find that you'll miss a spot, and it takes you a long time when shaving the back of your head. This is great for the internet, right?
Yeah.
When shaving the back of your head to get used to oh, I missed a spot here in the mirror, but it's actually your left ear. So you're in there and you're left ear.
Right.
That's how you.
Or it's like when you brush your teeth the same way your entire life. Have you ever tried changing the way you brush your teeth?
I completely switched to brushing my teeth and holding my left hand.
Of course you did.
About 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And dude, this is what it looked like the very first time. I grab a toothbrush and I start brushing, and my right arm just starts raising. It had no idea that it was going to become a bullpen catcher. There was no warning sign. There was nothing. It was I'm going left-handed today, and you can't. And it just literally. But now I can do it, and it's flawless, and I feel good with the left hand.
Yeah.
But I still notice, even probably 8 months later, tension in my right arm when I'm brushing with my left hand. It is such a weird experiment how your body's just it freaked out. It was no, we are not prepared.
That's funny. I tried the left-handed thing, but do you use an electric toothbrush?
Yes.
So I used an electric toothbrush, and for the first week of it, I would constantly hit my teeth with the plastic. So it was every time I would use I'm a lefty, so I have to use my right hand.
We should talk about. We might talk about rowing today, but the electric toothbrush. Is that net needed?
Probably not.
That's a really good way to sell a $100 toothbrush. Right?
It's kind of like his toothpaste needed.
What
kind of toothpaste do you use?
The regular.
Surprising.
Do you go Tom's?
No, not even.
Better homemade.
I use powdered toothpaste. I use powdered tooth powder.
My wife is really into all that stuff, and
it's
she
baking
is
soda.
Making the charcoal one.
I want to try that.
I don't wear regular deodorant either. It's her homemade deodorant. I've been in meetings before,
lemons,
I'm
cured
this charcoal
beef.
Stuff did not work today. Arms down, you're sweating like a freaking horse right now.
All right, who's on? We got 5 people in. Andrew, what's up, buddy? Andrew, we were just talking about you. Hordos Andros.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Hordos, actually his last name. Andros, first name.
Gotcha.
Goes by Andrew.
Nice to meet you, bud.
Hello, Backfix.
Molly's in there.
Molly. Hey, guys.
Molly.
She says we're killing it.
Yeah, Molly, I hope you're handling this okay. I'm
gonna start Facebook living on the Dark Horse rowing side and see if we can make her head explode.
I like that. Man, you guys are killing it. Thank you. Toothbrushes, that's what people are here for. So here we go, team. Thanks for joining us. If you're on the Dark Horse page, I'm Anders. Nice to meet you. You guys know Shane, but for the people joining from the Low Backs page, This is Shane Varner.
Hi, guys.
For all of you super history buffs, one of the fittest people you'll ever meet in your life. But more importantly, owner of Dark Horse Rowing, coaching seminars all around the world, teaching people how to row, and we'll be releasing a rowing course online in the coming weeks, which we are going to get to.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about some history? How do we get here? Do you want to start with some USD?
Yeah, okay.
Let's go back to the days in Minnesota. Those are the better days.
Okay. Yeah, raised in Minnesota, the land of mosquitoes and lakes, and actually my parents are from Minnesota, are in town right now. That's pretty special. I have a new baby in the house, 5 weeks old.
Not sleeping much.
Right, so if I have bags under my eyes, please excuse those. Yeah, so I grew up in that land, hot and humid summers, and I played every sport under the sun.
Yeah.
And I just loved sports, and my grades sucked, and I kept my grades up just enough so that I could keep playing sports. And that was it.
Did your parents use sports as like a weapon? Like, if you don't carry a B average, we don't play sports anymore?
No.
Mine did.
I had no rules. I was like raised as a reckless child of the streets in rural Minnesota.
Yeah, when I was a kid, it was like you show up to, in order to play sports, you have to maintain an average. So school was never a thing, which is actually, we had a conversation not too long ago about how, like, the first time you learned that it was possible to be good at things.
Yeah.
Which I thought was an awesome conversation.
Yeah.
When was that? I remember somewhere in Minnesota.
Did I learn that I could be good at things?
Yeah, like that learning that like being intelligent and like the process that we go through in this business thing, like the daily grind of getting better.
Yeah.
I left home at 13 and went to a boarding school in which I was surrounded by people that I thought were just like smart.
Mm-hmm.
Like someone had bestowed smart on them. And I had a few teachers along the way that just kind of like laid out. Like I remember the very first paper I turned in, and the teacher was like, "This is the English language. We are going to have to work on this because you don't know how to write. Like, you don't know how to do anything really." And that was like a launch point for me of like, oh wow, like I can learn these skills. And I think a lot of that stuff that I learned back when I was 14 still play a big role in what we do today. How do we get into this rowing thing?
All right, so I did a stint in college in Colorado for 2 years, played club baseball. And actually that was where I figured out, getting back to your point of when did I figure out that like I could actually accomplish something. Terrible student. I graduated high school with a 2.5.
Awesome.
Dismal. And so I went to a school that just accepted anybody with a pulse. And I got in and found that I loved school when I got to choose the curriculum. And that was when it clicked for me. And so, like my first 2 years there, I was at I think I bumped my GPA up to like 3.7, which allowed me to transfer to the University of San Diego, where our stories start to do this. And that was where I found rowing. I thought I was going to play baseball there, and nope.
Yeah, they're good.
Right. And so that just didn't happen. And so instead, the guy across the hall from me had been recruited to row. He was a dude from Hawaii, and he was an outrigger canoe guy.
Awesome.
And he looked at me and said, "You're tall, and it sounds like baseball isn't going to work out.
You have a frame.
Why don't you give rowing a try?"
Awesome.
And I was desperately looking for anything that would allow me to like connect.
Yeah.
And rowing was it, and I fell in love immediately.
You were cool in college waking up at 4 a.m. to go be cold. I guess it's not cold here. It's still cold.
It's still cold at that time.
Yeah.
On the water.
I see them out there on Mission Bay all the time, and it's super cool. So, rowing, USD, when did you find the CrossFit thing?
Stefan Roche.
Yeah, Stefan was a really influential person to a lot of people that I think are doing really, really big things. Like that guy's brain and the way that he was able to communicate to a really young group of people, like the principles of strength and conditioning. I've only met him once, but the number of people that I work with or hang out with that were influenced by him is a lot.
It's unbelievable. There are so many of us that were introduced to CrossFit through him, but to us, CrossFit was kind of more on the peripheral. It was Stefan. We were following him, and so many of our lives changed because of him. It was pretty incredible.
And you graduated and then walked
literally walked by CrossFit Invictus one day. I was too small to be a heavyweight rower and too big to be a lightweight rower, so I had no future in that.
Yeah.
Then I was on a walk, actually with my dad from Minnesota, who was visiting at the time, which didn't happen often, and we just walked through Little Italy, and we turned a corner and walked by a gym that had an open garage door, and I just went.
There was probably very few people in there.
Yeah, there weren't a lot. It had only been open for 3 or 4 months at the time.
Awesome.
And I just poked my head in and went, is this a CrossFit gym?
This exists?
Yeah. Yeah, and sure enough, it did. Patrick Brown, it's not cold in San Diego. Yeah, well, you live in Norway, buddy. We don't have any place to talk.
It's different.
So, yeah, I just walked by and just, like, lucked out that, you know, it was Invictus.
Yeah. It's a pretty good spot to land. And I think that's where our paths started to cross. And we opened a year and change after CJ opened CrossFit PB. We were like 2010. And I remember you actually walked in the very first couple of weeks, and you talked to Brian.
Yeah.
It's like, I run rowing clinics. We were like, wait, people
Great.
are like teaching things? Like, we just go as hard as we can every day and hope for the best. We didn't really know there was like a learning process to this thing. But then you got involved in, like, how did rowing become like, this is the thing? Because then it turned into the CrossFit certs. You work with C2 a lot. When did athlete turn into coach? Or was that something that it's kind of the natural progression, but when did it start to click with you?
I loved the coaching component equally as much as being an athlete from day one. Yeah. I had never coached before. I didn't know if I was going to love it, but I fell in love with it immediately. I really loved the impact that I was able to have on people's lives, and I had a lot of fun with it. Yeah. There's just something about like standing in front of a group of 30 people and being able to just, pardon my language, but fuck around and and still have an enjoyable time, but still be able to command a group. That was cool for me. And so yeah, I fell in love with that, and then the rowing piece happened because of my now wife, with whom I just had our first baby. By the way, I'm not seeing like any likes or anything on here. There's like no. I mean, we're just like talking to space. So if you guys don't like this, we can shut it down. Give us some love. Let us know that you guys are at least paying attention. Patrick, I know you are. You posted, about it not being cold in San Diego. Anyway, so I found her. We met. She was a member, and I had been coaching like rowing club at Invictus. And she invited me after having known each other for 2 months. There we go.
Hey,
thank you all. Thank you.
We shall receive.
Yes. Oh, hey, Dark Horse Rowing is on here. Wait.
What is that little thing at the end?
I don't know. It looks like an expletive. I'm guessing maybe that was Molly telling me not to go Facebook Live on our Facebook page.
So this is what happens out here.
Yeah, out in the wild west where we do yoga in parks and focus on deep breathing while filming it. Yeah. Because nothing is more calming than having a camera on you while trying to focus on deep breathing.
We're putting on a show of me breathing.
So yeah, after that, I met her. She invited me to Europe after we had known each other for 2 weeks or 2 months. What could possibly go wrong? Yeah. And so we booked this trip together, but I couldn't afford it at the time because I was a lowly, new coach making ends meet. And so I figured, what the hell? I'll put on a rowing seminar. I'll build a rowing seminar. I put it I made a 1-page PDF after having met a guy named Drew Cannoli. Does that name ring a bell? Drew Cannoli owns a company called FitLife.
Sweet.
FitLife.tv. He's a San Diego dude. I was introduced to him.
I know FitLife.tv.
Yeah, that's Drew Cannoli.
Awesome.
Introduced to Drew Cannoli, sat down, had coffee here in East Village, like just a couple blocks away from here, and we met, chatted, actually at what that coffee shop used to be.
Yeah.
I forget what it was before Coffee and Tea Collective, but
it's a great place for a $9 coffee if you're interested.
This doesn't get any better than $9 for
and
this.
It's hot and it gives you energy. Bankrupt.
Oh, she's saying no bad words. So don't say fuck anymore.
And no more. Sorry, Molly.
Okay, sorry.
Rehabilitate and drop F-bombs. Whatever.
I met Drew, FitLife.tv, Drew Cannoli, whatever. He'll come up later, I'm sure. I made a PDF, a single pager, that touted the benefits of learning how to use the rowing machine for CrossFit.
Awesome.
And then I emailed I hounded CrossFit's website, the main site, and found every CrossFit gym that I could find in Europe. And I found their email addresses, and I emailed a pitch email with this PDF to every single CrossFit gym in mainland Europe.
For those of you guys paying attention at home, that's called hustling.
Yeah. That was crazy. Like, I knew something was going to happen. I didn't know what. And I got...
So no one's doing it.
Right, yeah.
No one's even talking about it, much less having a course or...
Right. This is 2010.
They probably didn't have an Olympic lift yet. The Olympic lifting course had probably not even kicked off. Right. What CrossFit is today, if you don't know what the time he's talking about right now, it's literally the Wild West. Like, there's no information anywhere.
Yeah, main site is it.
And that's bare bones at best.
Yeah, and CrossFit wasn't even that big in Europe. I mean, I think I only found 30 gyms to email.
Nice.
Because that was all that was there. I mean, now, thousands.
Yeah.
But now, at the time, it was 30.
Yeah.
So I sent out an email, waited, and got a hit back from this gym in Switzerland, which to this day, they're like family to me, CrossFit Le Mans in Switzerland.
Nice.
And to be truthful, I don't know if they know this, I didn't even have the seminar planned out yet when I sold it.
Awesome.
And they also probably don't know this, I charged exactly what it was going to cost me to cover my expenses for the trip.
So
that was how I determined how much this course was going to cost. And I said, here's what I need. You can bring as many people as you want, and charge your members whatever you want. And there you go. And Bob's your uncle. And so we got over there, and I flew to Switzerland for 4 days and met this amazing family, Ewan and Olga Robertson, and they put me up in their home, and I stayed with them, put on a seminar at their place, and it's one of the most beautiful places I've ever been. Their house looks onto Mont Blanc across from Lake Geneva. Unreal.
Right on.
So that was how I started.
So, starts in Europe, C2 comes on, because they're talking about a business that just like, so many businesses just exploded through this CrossFit thing.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had the numbers, but the number of indoor rowing machines probably went 1,000,000% compared to what it was in 2007 to 2012.
That's probably a fair metric.
Yeah, if whatever has happened through this CrossFit thing, and whatever anyone's opinion is, it doesn't matter because access to equipment. I went onto Rogue's website the other day to build like a home gym and had to like leave because there was so many options for a squat rack that I just was like, no, there's too much. It's too hefty. The quality's too good. And if you were looking for a squat rack, and like I wanted a 2009 squat rack, and there's things like folding in on themselves, like unbelievable.
On that note, there's a Dark Horse rowing member. His name's Sean. Excuse me if I don't say your last name right, and you may never even see this video. Sean Hollick, I think. He's actually coming to San Diego, and we're going to do some private work next week. I saw him post a photo of his home gym. This guy has, I don't know where he lives. He has like a 2-story house, right? With one area of the house is like the 2-story roof, but there's no second story. So it's just a giant ceiling. Yeah. It's got to be, 30-foot ceiling. He has cleared his entire living room and built the most beautiful home gym I've ever seen in his living room. Everybody builds in their garage. He just built his like on his hardwood floor. His house is like kitchen, home gym.
Nice.
Unreal. Anyways,
I don't have that access. That would be awesome.
It's ridiculous.
Crazy. I'm always blown away with the people. I see them like rowing in their living room with a TV. And I'm like, you're so single. Like you can't do that. Do you have a rowing machine in your living room?
No, it's in my garage.
And he runs,
It's in my garage.
Garage acceptable.
Right.
When you live in your frat house, put it in the living room.
Yeah.
That's all I think about it. Like you have nobody. Like how
Well, Andros, he definitely has. He has one in his living room.
Well, sorry, bud. You're the exception. There's always got to be one.
Juliana?
She lives in Alaska.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about a different lifestyle?
Yeah.
I have 3 people that live in her town. It's called Delta Junction.
Okay.
And
I've heard of it.
You're the only one. Now I'm number 2 if you knew about it before me. But they're awesome. But they'll like send videos and there's like a bear in the stream, like over there. I'm like, what's the bear doing? And the bear looks like a human. It's just like high-fiving its other bear friends. I'm like, this happens in your life? Like, we have concrete.
Yeah.
We have the 5.
Yeah.
That's our jungle.
Yeah.
And it is crazy what goes on up there.
Well, hey, what's going on, Julia? Glad you're here.
Yeah. She's super cool.
Sidetrack note. I'm good at these, by the way. I always find stories tied to other stories. Northern Minnesota. My best friend from high school went to school up there. Lived at
Alaska?
No, northern Minnesota.
That's way up there.
Way up there, near the Canada border. Bemidji. And
Bemidji State's pretty good at hockey.
Yeah, they are. They're very good.
I had my hockey coach play there.
Yep. So he went to Bemidji. His house was straight on in the woods, and he used to fill his deer tags by dropping deer from his bedroom with his bow, because they would just stand outside of his window in the yard, and he had his deer tags, and he never used a gun. He would use a bow, but he would just slide his window open and just get his tags for the year.
Half marathon
Is a movie long. Is it really? That makes sense.
Yeah, that's cool. Wait, did you do the half marathon when it came out in the games?
No, hell no. I've done a half marathon. Sorry. I've done a half. I needed some height on you.
Yeah. Just hang out here now.
I did a half marathon in college, but not.
Have you ever done the C2 or the B? What's the time trial on the 2K?
Oh, Crash Beats.
Crash Beats. I
haven't.
Right.
But I've been doing a lot of 2Ks lately.
I saw that on the internet. It looked like you tried to kill yourself.
I did another one on Tuesday, and I beat that time. The one I posted 2 weeks ago.
How you can PR at this stage of the game is incredible.
It's dad strength, I think. It's a post rowing PR.
Gotcha.
I'm not beating the times that I had when I was rowing, but actually I'm surprisingly close right now.
Right on. So we're gonna get back to this thing. Tell us about how Dark Horse got started. So we went from the certification, grinding it out in Europe, finding a home, putting a course together, CrossFit, C2, all these things. Now Dark Horse Rowing. How do we get from kind of that certification to creating your own company? And one of the things that I think that you've done the greatest job with is making rowing somehow interesting. Because when I sit on an erg, those meters go by really slow. And I have to think about the same thing over and over again. Watching your videos, if you guys haven't seen this, Molly, you can post some sort of link to the YouTube channel where all the videos and stuff are. But the way that Dark Horse goes about the presentation of how you're supposed to do this, and all of the games, all of the ways that you can train on the rower, where does all this come from?
Well, Dark Horse started because I was tired of it being the Shane Farmer show. Honestly, that was the birth of Dark Horse. Was I hated the fact that I had to physically be somewhere to be able to coach people, and that meant that I could only coach in groups of 20 at a time, and when my schedule permitted. And I really wanted to be able to take everything that I was doing and get it to a broader audience, because, as you mentioned, rowing machines are everywhere now. They're everywhere. Everybody's using them, and there is so much mixed information, and most of it being on YouTube, right? That's where everybody goes, video. And there were all these different, I'm not going to name names, but there were plenty of like big name athletes that put out, their own videos on rowing. And every time it's like, no. And I'd fight this uphill battle by only being able to be in front of people. And so I built Dark Horse to alleviate that. And we started with programs, and in the programs, one of the core principles of Dark Horse is I don't care if you like rowing. And it's not even about rowing. Like, frankly, I'm not talking about rowing. Yeah, we're called dark horse rowing.
Yeah.
But the rowing is kind of take it or leave it. It can be dark horse or it can be dark horse rowing. I don't care about rowing, and I don't need you to care about rowing, right? Like, how many people actually want to be rowers? Very few.
Yeah.
And if I try to shove rowing down your throat, you're gonna resist.
Yeah.
Right? Most people do. When you tell them to do something, initial knee-jerk reaction is no.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that. But if you allow somebody to come to it in their own terms, then you can find people who may enjoy rowing and eventually make their way to rowing. So that's my whole goal behind this, has been to strip away the I'm shoving rowing down your throat and make it the, hey, come learn from us about the movement of rowing. And that is the one thing that you and I and all of the coaches in the world can agree on, is that good movement principles are the foundation of everything.
Right. So that's getting back to what is the principle versus how are we teaching it?
Right. I don't need people to love rowing. I just need people to agree that good movement is important. Yeah. And for 5 years of what we did, we always had coaches like, well, but I heard X. And it's like, all right. And I would argue and argue and argue. And finally, you realize that when you get somebody to admit that they believe in good movement, and then you explain good movement principles on the machine, there's no argument.
Yeah.
There's nothing to argue with. All we're talking about is good movement principles. So it makes it a moot point. And that was where things really started to turn for us, and where we started to gain some popularity.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, we just posted an article as well, and one of the questions that we've gotten in our members only group is talking about these movement principles. It's probably forever ago now, but the push don't pull.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my favorite ones. That's probably like the
our
only
first T-shirt.
I end up telling people when I'm coaching them, because one of our members, Nathan Moffin. Nathan, if you're on here, I don't know, I haven't seen your name come through, but he'll definitely be watching later. He's up in Pasadena. I can't row for 4 or 5 minutes without some sort of back pain. Clearly this is our world, so in the rehab world, people jump into these things, and it's like these full movements, and all of a sudden mechanics start to break down. What kind of do you start to see? Where do you start people in this journey, if there is like a plan of attack? If someone's coming into this rowing world, and they maybe just started CrossFit, maybe they just went right to some sort of, or they're in college or whatever it is and getting started. What's kind of the onboarding to, how do we learn how to do these movement patterns with rowing?
Gross movements, understanding and teaching kinesthetic awareness on the machine.
Right.
The challenge with a rowing machine, and I think the reason that we are in the space that we are in and nobody else is competing with us, is because it's very hard to give somebody kinesthetic awareness. I can't kinesthetic awareness for you and for you through the internet, because it's very hard. You have to create a path to somebody being able to feel it themselves, and then you have to know for certain that the path you've created will allow the person to feel that. And so when we look at, and the way that we approach it, is there are 3 pieces of the movement done in one order and then reversed, and that's the leg drive, the hip swing, and then the snap of the arms.
Yeah.
And we have a basket full of drills that we can use, which isolate those components. And then, honestly, just by nature of how long I've been doing this, I know what cues work and what don't. Which cues give me immediate results, and which cues take a couple months to finally settle in.
Yeah.
And so I talk about it as speed coaching. The goal with online coaching, anybody, is to speed coach. How quickly can I get you results? And then I can work on the nuances later. But I got to get you like gross results early on. And so we go fundamental, basic movements and just drill, just like anybody would drill on any other skill-based movement, which is what rowing is. So you put a barbell in somebody's hands, they spend hours practicing the positions, right? And that's what we use those same principles.
I dig that, because we teach the same thing, the same mechanics, the same completely different modalities though.
Yeah.
Where it's just a movement practice, and And in the rehab world, that's what we're trying to restore as much as possible is those movement mechanics.
Right.
And instead of going, hey, we need to do this as fast as possible or with as much weight as possible, it's why don't we just work on the mechanics and see if we can sit down properly.
Yeah.
And I think that however many years we've all been in the weight room and been training, the best coaches that you work with, they always sit there and just talk about the fundamentals over and over and over again, and they just sell it to you in countless ways.
Yeah.
So taking all of that and all of this expertise and the understanding of this, launching a new course coming up.
Yeah.
So exciting.
This is like our...
If you're excited about this, you should hit the little like button. I don't even know what the hearts do, but they make us feel good, so do it. It's great.
And ask questions, guys. There's nothing. We would rather be interacting rather than storytelling.
We don't even like each other.
We're just
want to talk to
we're
you.
sitting here drinking $9 coffee and just trying to make conversation out of thin air. So.
It's not even a large. It's just $9.
But that's their large.
Yeah, it is true.
It's like going to a gourmet restaurant where you spend like $50 a plate and it's like a single bite.
All right, this is real. What do you do when you order a drip coffee that's $4 and then they spin the iPad around and it just says at the top tip? Look, I already gave you $4 for 8 ounces of coffee.
Now, this is a hard one because I believe in tipping. I especially baristas. I think there's a craft to it, but
I always hit the $1.
I know, but see, that's what I used to do, and then at a certain point, I went, on a $4 drink, a 20% tip is 80 cents.
Yeah.
I'm tipping them like 25%.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. So I now tip 10% on drinks. I tip 10% on drinks.
Hold on. Working out with wildlife. You should try it. Adds a whole new level of interest. Cool talks. I'm a fan of this stuff.
Awesome.
Thanks, Joanna.
Thanks for that.
She really is in the wilderness. There's like like when you envision Alaska.
Yeah. She's like
There's like
she's getting to her house by biplane and landing on a lake.
Delta Junction. Think about the words. Like the town. They were like stream, a delta. They combine Delta Junction. They call it a town. $2 minimum. Holly, what kind of cash
$2
you rolling
minimum?
around with? That's like 60%.
That makes no sense.
That's actually like 80% in Starbucks, even for a large. It's like $2.65, which is absurd. Side note, connecting bad stories to bad stories. The Starbucks on the way to my San Diego Athletics, the gym that I used to own, for that 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning class.
Yeah.
It's like you're asleep at the wheel, and it's safer because no one in Pacific Beach is awake at that time.
Yeah.
And
Streets are
you have
good.
to hit the Starbucks on the way so you can actually bring energy to a 5:30 a.m. class.
Yeah.
And I can remember multiple times through that. A large coffee was $2.05 when we opened the gym. When I sold it, $2.65. Same cup of coffee.
Yeah, it doesn't taste any different.
Your tip is now, it's the whole
40
thing.
cents,
Oh,
60 cents less.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
You can't, I don't know.
It is good coffee.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's not that good.
I take umbrance with the fact that Starbucks is good coffee.
It's the best burnt jet fuel you can put in your body.
Yeah, just because they roast all their beans to taste the same black
Weird.
tarness.
Burnt is good.
No,
it's not.
I have a very nice cold brew, brewing at home, made with Cape Ann Coffee light roast. They're white gold.
You know what?
Beautiful.
I just got into the pour over, which makes me feel like such an elite hipster.
You need a mustache now.
I wish I could grow one. Let's talk about the course.
Okay, yeah.
What is this? What does it look like?
So the course is
Yeah.
designed for anybody who is a coach or a trainer.
Cool.
To be able to take, because there are so many rowing machines now, we recognize that we can't get to every athlete, and that we would rather work with, we want to work with coaches who can also spread the message. And so this is built for coaches and trainers, and it is taking my mind and just
Everything.
into a module course which walks through everything from fundamentals learning the machine inside and out, so you know how to clean it, how to use it, how to store it, how to break it apart.
Check out the Dark Horse YouTube page. That's the 2 latest videos, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Part 1 and 2, how to clean your rowing machine, especially if you're in the CrossFit world, because it's going to be in the open.
Yeah.
And as soon as you worry, you start worrying, like, oh, I need to get 1 calorie faster. Clean the dust out of the thing.
Yeah.
And you'll go from 1 million to 900.
To 900, yeah, exactly. You'll bump up one place ahead of the guy that you compete against across the city.
Yeah.
So
that's an inside joke. He beat me 3 years in a row. 3 by 1 place.
One place. I think that they, like, forged a lasting bond that we didn't understand at the time.
It's to ensure we bore everybody. I couldn't agree more, because I, at the time, in my 27-year-old ego, you couldn't fathom, like, Invictus, as judged by their 8th trip to the games, we came in a year and a half or so after Invictus opened, and CJ had already been to the games like 3 times or something like that, and knew all the things, all the people. Fantastic coach. This is not to take anything away. It's more, we came in as like the poor, grinding, homeless CrossFitters in Pacific Beach.
From Pacific Beach, which was like, nobody expected much out of Pacific
like
Beach.
Straight up college town. We were living in like really gross apartments at the time, and it was like a bachelor pad in our gym. Like it was a frat house. But it was an awesome little crosstown rivalry, at least we thought.
Yeah.
Because you guys would win, we'd finish in 3rd like every single year. And it was awesome, but we got to compete against each other and have no idea. It was super cool. Now we're just talking about it.
Yeah.
Back to the rowing course, so while you're actually here.
Which actually, Molly dropped a link to it there as well.
Ah, look at that.
It's just a wait list right now, so get on the wait list because the launch is coming soon. So, but yeah, we inside of the course, every video was made just for the course. So we do link to all of our YouTube videos as well to help reinforce concepts. But I spent weeks filming after hours at Invictus.
Not simple
every day.
weeks.
No.
Pregnant wife.
New home.
Filming at what, like 10 o'clock at night after the gym closes?
Yeah, from like 8 p.m. to midnight.
Every night?
By myself. Setting up audio, video.
If you know what it's like drinking coffee at 7 o'clock at night to get excited for rowing videos, this is what
talking to a camera with nobody behind it.
Yeah.
It's easy when there's somebody behind the camera because you there's a personality in the room.
Yeah.
You're staring at a camera lens while the cleaning crew at the gym is cleaning around you and trying to be quiet.
Keep it down over there.
They're being generous and not running the vacuums while I'm filming. And then I would get done with the video and be like, thanks guys, you can go ahead and vacuum for 10 minutes while I set up for the next video. But I think we have 37 videos inside the module, or inside the course, broken out into 7 modules. There's nothing that you will not learn about the machine. Now, and it's intended to give you all the tools to be able to use and teach the rowing movement to your clients. So, again, not geared towards making people rowers, not geared towards turning you into a rowing coach, geared towards helping you understand the rowing movement and utilize the rowing machine as an excellent tool.
So the full course, and then you guys also offer programs. I know there's like a 2-day a week. How do those kind of lay out along with the course in conjunction with what is the?
So the programs we started with our programs, and we built 8 different cycles for pretty much any distance, up to mid distance. We don't go 10K or beyond. Yeah. There's just not many people want to do that. So those programs, now we've been able to package those so that after you finish the course, you can now come in and we can give you the programs to use with your clients at your facility. So no longer, and our programs were always built to be companion programs, never primary. And by that I mean, I always designed and programmed so that it never overran CJ's program or Ben Bergeron's program or your program. It's meant to be used in conjunction with. We've never programmed more than twice a week, except for one cycle where we did 3 days a week, but we cut down our workout times to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
So the rest of the time it's hour twice a week, and can one day be used on your rest day as active recovery, and then the other one can generally be inserted in place of like one Metcon in the grand scheme of your whole program.
So what, Dark Horse Rowing, you're busy not just launching this program, but working with Invictus team.
Yeah.
We've got, for those of you guys in the CrossFit world or pay attention to this, things have moved to Madison.
Mm-hmm.
How does this, what is, in prepping a team, knowing that Wisconsin has a rowing program, a river, lake,
both.
all of it.
A lot of
They
lakes
have
in that
water
area.
that's flat,
Yeah.
not ocean. What does that preparation look like? What's going to happen?
I take a very minor
Castro's
role.
actually checked in, I think.
Yeah.
If you,
Pretty
thanks,
sure I saw
Castro, for
Castro's
showing
name
up.
right. Yeah.
It's really
We're
great
looking
of you.
for some sprint distances and then a long one as well, if you can throw that in.
Go ahead and just repost this on the CrossFit site. That'd be
Yeah, that'd be
great.
great.
I don't, dude.
My connection to prepping a team for games is so minimal. It's like
Yeah.
I come in as the like curveball pitching coach. That's like, if I could liken it to baseball, that's what I like. I am just a coach that teaches pitchers how to throw good curveballs.
Yeah.
That's it.
What's just cool about what you guys have created over Invictus is like CJ has found the curveball coach for every tiny little piece of
He has a coach for every single pitch.
from Julian to the gymnastic stuff.
But my hope is that rowing shows up on the
Well,
water
this
for the
is what
first time,
happens
because it's been
every-
like murmurs for
So
9 years.
The people that have been, except for the half marathon, which I did that day with them, just as like that. I wonder what that feels like. Started with like all of my clothes on, then the socks were soaked, the shoes were soaked. There was like a puddle going through and I was just
That's
like,
gross.
this is disgusting.
We got 7 people on now.
Yeah,
Picking up steam.
if we go all day, it's gonna be great.
Still haven't seen another thumb since.
Yeah, hit the thing. We like it.
It helps us keep going, guys.
But what happens when, what I think is super cool about the CrossFit world is it goes through these like stages. So they had the trail run in like 5 years ago or whatever it was, and then all of a sudden everybody in the country needed a running coach.
Right.
It's like, I don't know if you need a running coach. And then all of a sudden it was like ring handstand push-ups. Next thing you know, Jeff Tucker showed up, and then everybody had like a gymnastics coach.
Yeah.
And then weightlifting was like, everybody realized, well, if you saw some of the old weightlifting videos from the ranch, you realized we all needed weightlifting
lot of help.
coaches. But those specialty pieces, people are realizing that there's so much value in understanding how to, we don't need to, at the highest of levels, we don't need to necessarily teach like the most basic squatting patterns or whatever that is, but people need to understand and start to relate that to specific skills that they're doing.
Yeah.
So a lot of the things that you coach and I coach have carry over into the gymnastics world, but people don't specifically know how to use the rower with those themes that all of these coaches are talking about.
Right.
And what's awesome about the CrossFit and where the opportunity really lies, if there is this rowing event on the water, people's minds are going to be, getting on the water is not easy.
No.
The first time I ever got on the water, I stepped in the boat and went
It rolled.
straight over.
Yeah.
I never touched the seat. It was a foot in, me over. I had
Your
no
coach
idea.
didn't prep you well.
Not a coach. Just, this looks easy. I saw that guy jump in, and I jumped. And
Sometimes you just have to jump, man.
yeah, and I just realized, like, oh, there's like a skill to this.
I liken it to learning to row on a rowing machine is like learning to ride a four-wheeler, right? You've got handles, you have a seat, pedals, wheels. The pedals move the wheels. You figure out how the system works.
Yeah.
And then going into a boat is like taking what you learned on that four-wheeler and trying to learn to ride a unicycle. Much more complicated, but
Yeah.
you understand the systems.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot more practice and a lot more refined movement patterns. But you got your start.
I'm ready for the teams, especially the ones that have no water near them, to jump in, and we're dealing with like a 6-man boat, and then it just goes in a circle.
Which they don't make.
Oh, or not a 6-person boat. What's the minimum?
1.
Well, I got that. So, but like in a team setting.
2. They go 1, 2, 4, and 8.
So
and there's been a 16 made, but that was like a freak of nature thing just for display purposes.
Whatever they decide, I'm ready for a boat to just go in a circle. Yeah. Like no communication,
right.
No ability to be on the water, and it's like the first year that they swam in the ocean, and people from like the middle of the country were like
practically groaning.
These gigantic 2-foot waves. It's like no, it's flat. Like this is just
the ocean's intimidating.
It's
haven't
scary.
Spent time there.
There are frightening monsters out there,
dude, and they are all
a lot.
And they're all 6 feet under the surface, tickling your feet.
There is nothing like so. Like, you have no idea that a monster is that close to you, and then a seal will just pop its head up next to you.
Yeah.
And it's so frightening that something that large, and it's not even the largest thing, but it's large enough, and it'll just poke its head up and like look at you, and then go back, like, what the hell is going on down there? What in the world? Like a dolphin will just kind of hang out. They're not even frightening. It's just there's a world
we don't understand.
It's frightening.
You ever on scuba diving?
No.
Well,
I've been snorkeling, but not the full.
Scuba diving
all the way down there.
is so much more comforting than being on the surface because you just become a part of the environment.
Yeah.
And so.
Just a new fish down there.
Yeah, right. You're a fish. When you're on the surface, you feel like a target. When you're down there, you feel like
you're so unknown. You can't see.
Right, but you're down there and you can see. You're like, oh, I can breathe. I can see. I feel like I am part of the atmosphere here.
My wife and I, for our honeymoon, went to South Africa and went.
Did you? We did too.
So awesome. We could talk about that forever too, probably. Shark diving in the cage, dude. The fact that a great white shark can be like 3 feet away from you and there's no noise. If you're in nature and you're loud, you are dead. Because that thing is going to find you and they are quiet and it is.
Did you scream? Underwater?
You're covered in junk. Like you're just soaked in fish oil. It's really strange, but it's so awesome. The fact that they're so quiet and they're so stealth yet 10 foot long.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
I can't imagine. We did not elect to do that.
And then we did the safari as well. Safari was super cool. All the animals are so quiet. Like even an elephant that's walking around taller than trees.
You don't even know it's there.
Like 5 tons or whatever it is. No.
And all of a sudden you just hear like a branch crashing and you turn around and there's an elephant staring at you from.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah. Or they're like behind. It's like a joke. Like they're behind a light pole.
Yeah, there's
like, how the hell did you hide from me? And they're just standing behind this little tree.
Right on. What do you got?
We got 4 people. Any questions? Anybody got questions?
Questions are awesome.
Other than Molly jumping in and telling us that a $2 tip on a $2 coffee is
100%.
appropriate.
I don't know what they do out there.
Juliana, you got any questions?
I hope she's still on.
We got 6 people. We just added 2 more. See, I don't understand sometimes. I feel like I'm not getting the updates.
Sometimes they just come through.
Yeah, it's like there's a delay here.
Right on. Where, so we've got the course. Are you doing seminars anymore?
No.
Not at all.
No, I officially retired.
I love that.
I did it for 6 years and baby on the way, just traveling didn't seem that appealing unless I really wanted to.
I think this whole thing that we are both working on, the digital platforms is so cool. Just one, the ability to turn a camera on and be able to get the message across.
Oh, Sean, what's up? We were just talking about your home gym, buddy. He made it. The whole house gym. The picture that I saw the other day.
How do you get away with that? How do you build a living room?
Wondering minds want to know.
You just hang out like on some parallettes in the living room.
Patrick Brown, got anything planned for Madison?
Yeah, I wasn't planning on it, but we're actually going to be posting up, I believe, with the Compex group again, like we did at regionals, and putting on a little micro seminar at the Compex tent. So other than, well, Madison, I guess we're getting Invictus ready in case rowing shows up. We had them on sliders.
Which was super cool. If you check that out, at least on the Barbell Shrug Instagram, they had it on there the other day. I don't know.
Did they? Ours?
Yeah. It was like it may not be something people want out in the public.
They not give us photo credit on that?
No, they did.
Oh.
It was on Doug Larson's like Snapstagram story.
Oh, yeah, okay. So then, yeah, and then we're getting Invictus on the water. Team Invictus on the water.
What?
And actually, I've talked to the Bear Republic group because we might get their team practicing on the sliders too.
Awesome.
We'll see.
They have an awesome group downstairs. We are in Movement RX right now, which is the physical therapy clinic. There's a whole bunch of fun stuff here, but downstairs is Bear Republic, and they finished 3rd in the California Regional, and then Invictus finished 2nd. So,
which means 2 San Diego teams are going.
And they're less than a mile apart, which is really crazy.
Sean says, luckily my wife is into fitness, so I can have a box in the living room. She does Ironman. Seriously, Sean, how long did that thing take you?
You got to see this.
Yeah, post a picture. I want to see this fun thing.
Can we? I'm gonna pull it up on my phone.
Oh, there's the slider thing, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
There you go.
That's on my phone. Okay, hold on. I love Facebook Live because I'm on Facebook.
Yeah.
Incepting.
What? Thankfully, we have Molly in our lives. Because I'm going back to the flip phone.
Dude, tell me about it.
The flip phone's such a sweet deal these days. $2 a month. You can't even.
You don't need.
If I
you don't need.
Text somebody, I'm gonna have to hit the number 2 key 3 times to get to the C.
No data necessary.
No one's gonna want to talk to me ever.
Sean, I'm currently on your Facebook page looking for the picture that you posted of your gym. I'm scrolling through a lot of stuff here. Oh, here we go.
There it is. Oh, the full house. Wow.
Look at this.
Oh, wow.
I mean, kitchen.
That is super legit. I have no idea how you got away with
Look
that.
your squat rig is right in front of your fireplace. Look at that.
That is awesome.
How amazing is
You
that?
have a freaking rope climb.
Dude, I don't know how your gym has not made it onto the CrossFit main site
Yeah,
yet.
they should really. Can you drop weights in there?
Oh, good question. Can you?
Wait, what did Molly say? No, what to me about something. I don't know.
Molly, you're way behind.
Oh, my flip phone. Yeah, I'm getting a flip phone. I haven't told you yet. I'm sorry, that's happening.
Jared Gold, show it. Oh, you want us to show? Okay.
I don't know how we do that. Wow.
This is Sean's.
Real.
This is Sean's home gym.
Show me the pic.
Look at that. That's a marble fireplace with a Rogue rig in front of it and a TV on the wall, plus like banners up on the ceiling.
Yeah. It's really interesting that you somehow convinced that to go down.
Dude, look at this. That's from the 2nd floor.
Do you want that?
I mean, I kind of do.
There's a piece of me that does.
I
feel so obligated to work out.
I know. Yeah. Right. You know, my fitness for both of us, we've kind of talked about. Our fitness now is like balance. You are far more impressive than I. I watch your videos of what you're doing for fitness. I'm like, I couldn't even think of that because all I have at home is like one of those half balance Bosu bowls. Yeah. Up to 25-pound dumbbells, a jump rope, and an erg. That's all I got.
See the method to, and what I love about kind of what we both teach to people in teaching these principles is I got so tired of being at like here and wanted to go back to being a beginner so badly that one, I sold my gym because I didn't want to be in that role anymore. But the Olympic lifting, if you're doing that, you're already in the 1%.
Yeah.
Whether you do it competitively or not, if you understand the mechanics of snatching and can do it a full squat snatch, even with just an empty barbell, you're at the top.
Yeah.
If you are doing it competitively, you are inside the 0.1%, and you are having a conversation about fitness and inquiring about things that is at a very high level. And I got really burnt out on how good can I be? And what I really wanted to start focusing on was like, I don't need all the weight to be the answer to my problems. Like, I don't want just add more weight to be what we're working on. So how do we change the complexity of the movement? And that has turned into kind of this system that I don't have. One day it will be an awesome product that everyone can buy, but I've really gone back and we work out at these like gorgeous gyms with endless resources. And I bought one barbell, 205 pounds, so there's no way I'll ever lift a lot.
Right.
And one kettlebell, and that's it. But I still have to find ways to, one, keep it interesting, two, still be able to do and practice all the movement patterns. But how do I take 20 years of learning and training and still do something new? Mm-hmm. So the goal every day, if you check out whatever Instagram page, it's my Instagram page.
If you guys aren't following it, check it out. I'm inspired by what you do.
Highlight reel of the day of my goal every day is to do something that I've never done before, so that I am progressing movement still. Mm-hmm. And like if we're doing a push-up, push-ups never get old. Like they're really hard, especially if you do them well.
Yeah.
And if we slow things down a little bit, then we can start to like take one arm off the ground. You can't do a one-arm push-up fast.
Right.
And then you start to connect like your core to it. You start to see all the movement patterns and how they move together. And in being in the CrossFit world for so long, like we were so good at this like alpha, super intense version of fitness.
Yeah.
And when I was starting to look for movement pattern practices or movement practices that were different, I would go to like a yoga gym. And what's the first thing you do when you don't know anything about that? It's like you go to a high yoga class because it's hard. And I realized I would be in the middle of it, and I'd be like 45 minutes done, and I'd be like, this is so hard, I can't do this. Like, why do I want to sit in this hot room?
You're like removing yourself because you're about to pass out from the heat.
And I realized like, oh, this is the CrossFit of yoga.
Yeah.
I did nothing but change the movement practice and like change the name of it, but it's still this alpha yang side of it. And then I started going to these like yin classes, which are just pure 1 hour seated meditation practices. And I found a couple people in town that were like really awesome at it, and I was like, holy shit, like you can go to that side and be super intense, but you can also go to this side and be super mellow and take this restorative form to everything. And in my brain, I started to try to create like a yin strength practice where I am running a business, I'm up at 5:30 every day, you have a kid, trying to be elite at fitness is absurd. So how do you make that 1 hour of your day as restorative and mindful and focused on the breath as possible? And when you slow down and like start to connect the dots of everything that you've done in your life, like you're able to kind of change the metrics. And that's
I couldn't agree with that more.
the thing that I am working on the most. I have no idea where it leads to, but the idea of like a yin strength training practice, like I still every once in a while try, do you still Olympic lift like here and there?
On occasion, if somebody writes a workout for me that has it, but rarely.
4 times a year.
Yeah.
And I try to clean 300 and snatch 225 every time, and then I put the bar away. And I haven't missed yet.
I occasionally, I will more get under a bar for squats, just because I love squatting.
Yeah.
So I enjoy that as a, like once a month thing.
So
I'll get under a heavy barbell just to feel the
So
press.
that was like my initial buy-in to this thing. It's like, what do I need? Because there was a time in my life where I thought that if I didn't squat on Monday, that I would just like disintegrate.
The world comes crumbling down.
Oh my gosh, like I didn't almost kill myself today. What am I doing? And 2 years ago, I started following Mike Boyle, someone that I've actually connected with in Orange or North County, Max Shank. Do you know who that is?
No.
Super awesome dude. And they kind of like started changing my mind on what I needed to be doing, and started doing tons of single leg work. Well, when you start doing single leg work, you start to realize the balance thing is not there. Squatting's super cool, but it doesn't eliminate all the deficiencies that you have in your body. So once a month, cool, do it.
Sure.
See if you can still squat 315.
Yeah.
If you need to turn the music up a little bit to get some aggression going, awesome. But
yeah, I hit 305 yesterday, and I was like, yeah.
Oh, that's rad.
Hell yeah. That felt great. And then I was like, good, I'm done for at least a month.
See you in August.
I don't need any more. Dude, let me jump in here, because this comes back to like my favorite clients when I was coaching, right? I love group classes. That's a dynamic unto itself. Yeah. But I also had a lot of semi-private clients. My favorite clients were my weight loss and life change clients, because they're the ones where you get into this cerebral coaching piece that is way outside of the spectrum of strength training. And you have to start creating stuff, which is what you do, right? And like another coach who I see as somebody that I strive to live up to as a coach is Sam Dancer.
Super creative guy.
If you don't follow these two guys, Sam and Anders, on Instagram and like follow what they're doing as far as movement goes, you are missing out, because they are both incredibly creative, and like the stuff that Sam does with banding and chains, like just putting things together that weren't originally supposed to do that thing to create results in a non-super aggressive way is just mind-blowing to me. But one of the best, like so many of my clients, I would start them on the balance beam. I mean, they came to me for CrossFit, and it's like, we're not going to be doing CrossFit. You and I are going to be doing side shuffling on a balance beam while tossing a weighted ball and a lacrosse ball back and forth to improve your hand-eye coordination and balance. Right? These things are the things that are going to make you more fit and healthy, and that's the stuff that's fun.
It's one of the things that I love so much about the program that we have now is the clients. And one thing I struggled with so much when I started exploring and really looking at like what is the next thing that I want to learn in the fitness world, like CrossFit took 11 years. I say took. It was an 11-year like journey to find out how good I could be at lifting weights. And there was this beautiful format for here's the standards and here's a board and we're going to turn the clock on and go. And you learn so much about movement in that process, but because it's so far on the like alpha side of fitness, I never knew there was this other side. And when I talk to clients now, and I still have a few clients that come in that I train that I've been with for a while, the way that I gain the conversation back and eliminate everything that they think we're supposed to be doing, like they're paying you for CrossFit, but you're standing on a balance beam, is we just start with breathing practice right off the bat. It's like, oh, you want to do this intense thing? Cool, let's work on breathing. And then they lay down, and next thing you know, they're like zenned out, and you own that conversation now because everything's
you turn
calm.
on that parasympathetic.
Their expectations are gone.
Yeah.
They no longer think like, oh, I'm working out. It's like, cool, what are we doing?
Yeah.
And it's just bring it down.
The anti-coffee.
And so I couldn't agree more. In fact, one of the very early pieces of me learning how to get into this rehabilitative world, we had a member at the gym have a stroke in the middle of class, and got a call. It was like a noon class. I wasn't even at the gym, and ended up going to the hospital that night for 4 or 5 hours just to hang out and be a part of it. And like normal kid, I played golf with him multiple times, and he couldn't text, couldn't do anything. And I was like, he just kind of looked at me and was like, what do we do? And I was like, do you think I have an answer? Like, I don't know how to do this. And
I'll teach you how to squat, though.
Teaching CrossFit with a barbell for so long because that's what the sport required. And then I started working with him, and it was like, dude, let's see if we can like stand on one leg. All right. Well, we can't do that. That's going to be step one.
Right.
And I started debunking everything that I thought was true. And that is really when the conversation changes. Like, clients with osteoporosis, and they're super young to be having it.
Yeah.
And 4 years later, they come back and they don't have osteoporosis. They're actually like in the category of like 25-year-old women.
Right.
And you're like, whoa, there's so much more to this. And it has nothing to do with how fast you go, how strong you are. It has everything to do about this like movement pattern and just being around this stimulus to challenge your body and try and progress the movements past elite barbells and whatever. There's so many cooler. I shouldn't say cooler because that's something that we could argue about. But there's so many things inside the world of fitness.
There's so many ways to achieve fitness.
Yes, and it's such a big conversation. So that's really the basis of our program is structural balance. And how long do you plan on working out for?
The rest of my life.
Yeah, me too. I love working out, and the people that I actually train with now or talk about training with, we're all in this stage where it's like, shit, we have a real life now.
Yeah. My thought when I go to work out, this just changed in the last 5 weeks. My thought when I work out is, how am I going to show my daughter that fitness is just a part of everyday life?
Yeah.
Not something special, not something that you like, oh, yeah, I just got to make time for it today. It's like, how do I just show her that this is a piece of life is to move?
Yeah.
Move, just move. Whether that's going for a walk with our dog in the morning, whether that is working out in the garage, which I'm doing a lot more of. Running around with our dog, getting down on all fours, quadrupedal movement, like those things that.
So hard.
Yeah, right.
Make people breathe. Make people crawl. Like
Yeah.
all those pieces add up into this like completely different thing, and that's really what I enjoy exploring with myself. And I don't even know how to. I try to teach it with some of my clients. It's very much in the program that we run at Low Back Fix, but the progressions and like where it goes, it's such a new thing to me. And like just there's something about the idea of like a restorative yin strength training program that like just vibes with me, and it's such a cool launch point because I did really well in that aggressive format.
Right.
And now it's such a challenge to go down to my garage and look at one 55-pound kettlebell and think like, that's the only thing I get to pick up today.
Yeah.
How many different ways can I move this one implement?
Yeah.
And
That's just you're calling it yin strength training.
Yeah.
Right? And I've always the way I think about it, I look at it as the art of play. That's like my format is how do I make somebody play like a child again?
yeah.
How do I make them get into that like giddiness and like enjoy our foundational movements
Yeah.
of being able to get up, get down, move on all fours, be on the floor, roll around. Great story. Okay, story time. By the way, I know we have a lot of questions here. So ref going in, Jared's commenting on Sean's. Shane, Molly says that I don't even have a microwave. That is true, Molly. I don't own a microwave or a toaster. Sean saying, look in albums. There's a home box album. That home gym is sick and also bigger than my flat. Yeah, Patrick, it's bigger than most of our homes.
It's like a $12 million house.
Yes, yeah.
You build a gym.
Yeah. And Molly dropped the link to your Insta page. Okay, so anyways, there's this guy that most of my friends now I've found are dog park friends. You and I had this conversation a while back. I've met most of my friends now because we were just at the dog park together and our dogs started playing, and so we started talking. Like, oh, hey, you own a dog? We own a dog? Let's be friends.
We totally have
let's have a barbecue together. So we met this guy when we first got our dog. His name's Joe. Joe lives in our neighborhood next to the park that we go to. And Joe was in the military, came back, definitely didn't have best of experiences, retired from the military, and just kind of became a shut-in in his house. And he's 70 something now. Lives in the same house that he's lived in since he was 17. It was his mom's house.
Yeah.
He He's lived there since he was 17. He's 70 something now. Still lives there, and right next to this park. But had been a shut-in, living by himself, watched TV all day, ate crappy food, and just never left. And one day, he found a dog, just a stray dog, and total mutt. He's like a pit lab something. Like he's just he's thick and heavy, and he's like a great play dog. And it wasn't chipped, no collar, nothing. You just found him wandering in an alley. So Joe, being a nice guy, grabs him and starts putting up posters, like comes over to the dog park in the evening. He's like, hey, is anybody missing a dog? If I found this dog, the dog park right next to his house, found this dog, nobody ever claims him. Joe feels bad, doesn't want to send him to the pound, adopts him. Right? Adopts this big, like 100-pound mutt that he just found wandering in an alleyway. Doesn't have a name, nothing. He's in the dog park one night, still waiting for the owner to like miraculously come find his dog. It just never happened. And somebody asks him like if he even, they say, do you have a name and do you have poop bags? And he said no and no. And he goes, poop bags? I think I'll name him Bags. So the dog's name is Bags now, and he decides to adopt him. And so now Joe, overweight, been a shut-in, eats like crap, never moves, sleeps on his couch like most of the day, sleeps at night. Right? He just doesn't leave his couch really. All of a sudden has this dog, this 100-pound dog, and starts coming over to the park every night with us. And so he starts to socialize with us a little bit, and he's a great guy. And eventually just falls in love with this dog. And I would start to come to the dog park, and Joe would be there before any of us were there. And it would be him and the dog out in the middle of the park. Nobody else would be there. And Joe in high school was a wrestler. And Bags would have like a toy in his mouth. And Joe would be on top of him as if he were getting ready for, I don't know wrestling very well. Do you know wrestling? So anyways, he's like staged on top of him as if they're getting ready to start a wrestling match. And he would wrestle with his 100-pound dog. Now mind you, Joe's 70-something, overweight, hasn't left his couch. And all of a sudden he's out in the park with his dog, like wrestling, rolling, grabbing and bear hugging him, flipping him over.
Slowly becoming an animal.
So yeah, slowly becoming an animal. And I would just hear him giggling like a little kid. And the dog was just happy as a clam. And the two of them were just, he would like roll him over, and the two of them just became best buds. Joe ends up losing weight, starting to take like daily walks, starts eating better, starts getting out of his house, and his doctors can't figure out why all of his health markers are coming back and why he's losing weight, and they start to think that he has some sort of like terminal illness that they can't pinpoint, and because he won't tell them that he got a dog. and he won't tell them what happened because he wants to challenge his doctors to make them figure out what's going on. And I don't know if he ever told his doctors, but now he's lost like 60 pounds.
Found purpose.
He found a purpose. He's got he and I had multiple conversations on multiple occasions about he would see me come into the park and he would stop playing. And eventually I talked to him, I was like, Joe, what you are doing is what clients come to me to teach them how to do. Right, like what you are doing is the best thing you could be doing for yourself. He's like, really? He didn't know that the fact that he was taking impact on the ground, like hitting the ground repeatedly, that he was learning to like control his body and roll.
Stuff that I have no idea how to do.
Right, but he was retraining his body to play, increasing bone density, putting on muscle, like improving metabolism, all just by playing with his dog.
Turn all those like genes on that have been dormant for 50 years or whatever it is.
Totally.
It's so crazy. We have to kind of get rolling because not only
I don't even know what time it is.
15-minute mark, but I have to go hang out with Molly here in another 15 minutes at 11. But that really is at the heart of now kind of like what we both see as like, what is this? Like, it's about the physical freedom to be able to go and do stuff. And when you talk about training with your daughter, that's the exact same thing. Like, I don't have any kids, but when they become a thing, it's like, look, you can take this thing as high as you'd like to, but realize that like the goal is to wake up. Like I went and did jujitsu with Steph this week.
Saw that.
Super awesome, right? And like you get in there and you realize that like one, it's great being strong. Like people should be strong because it really allows for a lot of other things. But don't forget that the stronger you are, the less mobile you're going to be, and the less flow you're going to have with your movement patterns. Because in order to get really strong in specific movements, you have to
Lock in.
practice that specific movement pattern so much that you don't have the flexibility with a lot of other things. And that's, I think, I'm so much more interested in jiu-jitsu. I'm so much more interested in swinging kettlebells in weird ways. I'm so much more interested in like, breakdancing would be rad. I'm not even close to that. Like gymnastic stuff, I don't know if you follow like Lindsay Renteria or Laura Novak.
Or Chris Pinedo.
Yeah, gangster, right? The guy does such rad stuff. And like, there's no such thing as like going back and wishing you could have done all these things, but it's about, look at this, genius, tying it all together. It's about these like, realizing the ability that you can learn these things, but it all stems from these basic movement patterns, and whether it's going out and wrestling with your dog and accidentally learning them and like turning all the good things on, or going into a structured facility and having somebody teach you the movement patterns. But if in our world, and if you're living in pain, you can't even go out and play with your dog. It hurts to walk. I see these people walking their dog down the street and have to stop and like stretch, and you're like,
You know that's why I stopped competing, because I blew out my back.
didn't know that, but
You didn't?
no.
Yeah, that was why I stopped competing.
I stopped competing because it was so hard to keep up with these people.
I had a shoddy chiropractor blow out L4, L5, S1, and just completely debilitate me.
You know, they're not doctors, just saying.
I don't want to.
If you made it to the hour and 15-minute mark of this.
I refuse to call chiropractors doctors now. No offense. I like all respect in the world for the schooling and everything that you guys have gone through.
Different conversation, but yeah, there's, if you go to one, make sure the guy's been around a long time, and if the first thing he does is crack something,
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
Because
This
there's
guy.
a lot of things that need to be done before.
That was all this guy did. I got on. He never talked to me. Just pop, 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 pop. 3 times a week for 5 weeks while I was training for the games. And so I was under load, and all of a sudden my body had shifted without any kind of adjustment phase, and just L4, L5, S1 all at once.
My wife has a very similar story. She's traveling and deals with a lot of stability, like overextension, like a lot of females do.
Yeah.
And she was actually one of the very first people that I kind of started down this like thing of, well, we got to start doing these things and getting your knees out and like stop with the overextension piece. And man, that guy took a lot of money and did nothing, and really freaked me out a lot. I remember the first time I ever went into one of those and it cracked my neck, and it was just the left side.
Yeah.
And I just stood up and walked away. I was like,
Yeah, no thanks.
But you could go to ones that actually.
Like I've gone to some that are like ART Chiro combo.
That's
like
the one.
that's great. Like they sit there and do a lot of like muscle manipulation and get you ready. And then the only cracking is if it's like, hey, I felt like something was kind of catching, and you know we loosen stuff up.
Sean, we're about to wrap up anyways. Thanks for hanging out with us today.
Oh, gotta pick up a tire.
Oh yeah, you're gonna put that in your kitchen or?
We're super lost, everybody. We should have started with story time in the beginning.
All right, let's wrap it up.
Thanks a lot for hanging out today. We're going to be getting an email out to everyone about Shane's course. The people from Dark Horse, thank you for tuning in. DarkHorseRowing.com.
DarkHorseRowing.com.
Dark Horse Rowing on the Insta, Anders Varner, the Low Back Fix. Like, share, tell your friends about us. That'd be cool. And,
Shared this whole hour and 30-minute episode.
Yeah. Sometimes this is what happens. We had to talk business in the beginning, and then we just had fun. So, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys soon.
Bye, guys.